Hello, welcome to Electronic Quarterback, the video podcast where we explore the concept of leadership and technology. I'm here with Larry Lubin, founder of BlueRush, and somebody I've worked with a couple of years now. And so we're gonna talk a little bit with Larry about this and other things. But I thought maybe it'd be interesting to start, and I do know the story, so I know it's a good one. But start with just the origin of the company BlueRush.
Great. Thanks for inviting me, Steve. And love to tell you about the origins. It started actually as a contract at CIBC. CIBC was actually looking to know more about each customer because what they were doing at that time was propensity modeling. So if they were doing marketing, they would send materials based on life stages. They would do all sorts of activities related to life stage, but they didn't really know much about the customer. So the plan was, what can we do to find out more and then market to that? So the contract was really the very beginning of what we do on the internet now is trying to know as much as we can about the customer and then market to that. Know the right content at the right time to do more business with them and make them happier.
Very cool. So it started as a contract. The contract turned into a company.
Exactly.
And then when did Len, the other founder partner, Len Smofsky, when did he come into the scene?
Well, I'd known Len for a very long time, as you know, actually since high school. And during the time I was doing that contract, I was in regular communication with Len. And I actually went to him with a business idea about the Small Biz Whiz, which would have been a segment, almost a reality TV show. And then we started talking about what I was doing at CIBC and the financial health check. And Len started talking about video and using video, and he was showing me things in the entertainment industry where they were playing reels of an upcoming movie and said, wouldn't it be cool if we could use this for business? So we thought for a while, we came up with different ideas, and we started bringing these things out to clients to see what it would be like if we had, let's say, a landing page or a website and then some video that could play. And very quickly, that turned into something valuable. And I realized, hey, Len would be a great partner because I didn't really know much about video, and he did.
There you go. So let's talk about a customer engagement. And both of us know this is a big thing that BlueRush does is solve the problem of the challenge of customer engagement. But how much of have you seen that shift in the many years now that you've been working with internet-based technologies? Has it become more challenging, less challenging to get people's attention and then to do something with that attention?
It's definitely getting more challenging. They used to say that we had the attention of less than a goldfish. And I think that it's decreasing even further. A goldfish is something like 8 seconds.
Yeah, we're below that now. I think, they're 9, we're 8.
I might be 2. So if I wander, we'll do the best we can. But that's become a real issue now because there's so much proliferation of content. You look at different segments like Gen Z and millennials, their attention spans are getting shorter. So to try to get someone to be interested quickly is real tough. And our clients ask for what can we do? What can we do to get their attention?
And you've been working with some of the greatest banks in the world, really, for most of your career, correct?
I would say so. Certainly the people in Canada think they are.
Yeah, we agree.
That's true.
But where do you see that? Where do you see the banking industry in 5 years? And that's a broad question. So let's say from a consumer-facing perspective, what would be, if I'm a customer of a bank and it's 5 years from now, what's that going to be like for me?
Well, I'm going to tell a bit of a story. So today, actually, I had to go by a branch. I should have actually used an app to deposit a check, but I felt like taking a walk. And I went to a new branch, I won't mention which one, and there were no tellers. And I'm hearing more and more of these branches that are setting up in a very, very different way. So we go back where everything was branches, and we go to today where everything is moving to pure digital. You're doing things online or you're using your phone. We've already seen a huge change.
But you could go inside, like you went inside,
Yes.
But there's no tellers.
You can go inside and there's someone at the front, almost like a greeter. What can I do for you? They have a few things that they can do, maybe get you some US cash. And then they have a bunch of machines that they'll show you can do everything here on your own.
Can I ask you? I know you're going somewhere with that, so try and remember where you're going, because I'm throwing you off here. Yeah, we're both under 8 seconds on this. Is that better? Was it a better trip to the bank today?
I think I didn't really need to speak to a person, so for what I needed to do it was fine. And I think there's a lot more convenience, much more opportunity to bank, to do things than there ever was. The missing piece is that additional help for something that's a bit more complicated. When it's a bit more complicated, I kind of want a bit more help than I can get. And I think that's where we come in.
What about the grocery store? Do you use the self-checkout?
I'm okay with the self-checkout. Yet I speak to people who are older than me, and they're very unhappy with it. A buddy of mine in Vancouver was telling me he doesn't like Walmart anymore.
Because it's self-checkout.
Exactly.
I use it, but not for the vegetables.
Not for the
I can't figure that part out. But if it has the code on it already, as long as everything I have has the code, I'll use that. I actually like it.
You know, you can imagine in 10 years from now that won't even be an issue.
Yeah. So as I said, I knew I was throwing you off, but we were talking about, where does this go? In 5 years, what's it like for me? So tellerless branches, check the boxes already exist. How about my online experience or other ways that I might interact with a bank?
Yeah, so
You can go farther out than 5 years if you want.
well, let's think of, first of all, the online experience is already improving tremendously. If you think of what you can do. If you think of a typical bank website that has content and navigation and having to do that, we can envision a time where everything is voice activated. Very simple choices. I'd like to open up a checking account. I'd like to open up an RSP. Should I pay down my mortgage or should I contribute to my RSP? We're seeing a lot of opportunities right now to completely change that. So I think that the future of banking will be digital. That digital will be a lot more personalized, and the interface will become a lot simpler than it is now, right down to the point where you don't even have to see anything at all. You ask for what you want and it appears.
So just like the Alexa or equivalent sitting in your kitchen, you just start chatting away with it.
That's exactly how I see the future of it. Just the way you would have never thought that a banking experience would be online. If you think of ordering groceries online, I'd like to order X and X and X, and it shows up at your door, you can get a lot of help. And if you do need to see a visual, then that visual will be present. And if you don't need it, you won't have it. So I think people should be preparing. In fact, if you look at websites and online banking, I think the banks need to think even more futuristically in terms of what that's going to look like.
Yeah. So I was at the Finovate conference in the UK in February, and a big topic there, something you encouraged me to dig in on while I was there, was open banking. And I know you have some thoughts on that. And regardless of the time it takes for open banking to be embraced here in Canada or in North America, it's probably just a matter of time. What do you think the biggest impact of something like open banking is? Maybe two parts: on the banks themselves and also as at the consumer level.
I think first of all, for the consumer, it's an opportunity to get the right thing at the right time and the right product, rather than be stuck with one firm. If you think of something like Airbnb, hotels that actually own no property to a certain extent, right? So you can think of products, I just get whatever's the best product. So I think the best players in the industry will actually assemble and make the distribution and convenience for the best products for their customers. And those will be the future of banking and financial products.
So, and sorry, just connect the dots there for me again with the Airbnb. So you're talking about, then you're saying the assets, the kind of fundamental banking assets and capabilities are not as important. It's about the service delivery to the customer?
Exactly. It's really, if you think of the hotel analogy, is they don't actually own properties. They just make a facility to distribute the properties all over. They get access to everything that there is.
Yeah.
So banks today, or even fund companies or anybody that has any type of product, they're a provider of a product and they're a distributor. Imagine if you just assembled the very best products, the best products, and you made access to them, convenience, the education, the choice of them real simple, those will be winners in the future. Now, of course, there's a lot of regulation, so there's still concern on open banking, and you pointed out wisely that it's going to take some time. But it's really distribution, the right distribution.
Excellent. Okay, well, listen, thanks very much for your time today on Electronic Quarterback. Really appreciate it. Always great chatting.
Great to be here.
Thank you for watching this episode of Electronic Quarterback. Don't forget to rate, review, and of course, subscribe to our podcast. And we'll see you next time. Thanks very much.